Hi guys, I'm live. I just got a fan that's on my walk today that suggested he wanted me to do more live streaming, and I try to do what the fans say. So I decided to stream a little more than usual today, or at least do an extra stream for him. So this is just a nonsense stream, just to say, okay, I'm streaming more. But it's not total nonsense. It's just something I just decided to pick what to talk about. But that's what the guys seem to want, so here it goes. I want to talk about government and all that. So here I go. I know from personal experience with my family, my adoptive family, I know a few things about government, and I got a book that I only was able to get through a friend, an ex-friend of my dad's that was a friend of mine too, that works in the United Nations. She got me a copy of it. It's called The Conspirators Hierarchy, The Committed 300. And it's by Dr. John Coleman, former MI6. He defected, but he did it to write this book. And he had access to the British Museum and things that only intelligence people, MI6 type people would have access to. And plus, so I read that book cover to cover twice. Plus, growing up, I had some connection to some of that. I'm just going to talk about it. First of all, the idea that we elect a president and that president somehow rules is wrong on two fronts. First of all, it's not one person that does anything. That would be too much central. That would be too easy to cut the head off the snake. It's actually 300 people. That's the first myth about the president ruling us. The second myth is that it's elected. Well, the Committee 300 is not elected. They don't care what we think of them. In fact, they like to be in the shadows and not even unknown. They don't even want to be known to anybody, really. And I posted on my Instagram and TikTok a complete list of the John Coleman's list. He's just one person, but that's what he wrote. It's a list of Committee 300 members, past and present, and there are signs. I guess that means high up people that help them or whatever. I'm not sure. But at the end of toward the end of the list is my adoptive great grandfather, Sir William George Eden Wiseman, is on the list, and he was my adoptive dad's grandfather. And this guy actually was President Woodrow Wilson's handler in World War I era, but which again speaks to the myth that the president rules and he rules us. In World War I, my dad's grandfather told Woodrow Wilson a lot of what to do. And and nobody even knew who Sir William Wiseman, compared to Woodrow Wilson, nobody knew who Sir William Wiseman was. But that's how they like it. They rule from the shadows and they rule in plain sight. So as long as there's a guy up on front so that we think we have control over who rules us, and we think it's simple enough to think that only one person, if we trust that person, we have good rule, is a myth double over. Both Democrat and Republican parties, both the Committee 300, which is non-partisan. It doesn't matter if you're Democrat or Republican. At the end of the day, it's who puts you in power and who do you serve. And the answer, no matter who you are, with very rare exception, is the Committee 300. Now, once in a while there's a Kennedy who yes was put in power by the Committee 300, but he did a double cross on the way. Well, first of all, he to the committee, I'm saying, not to us, but to the committee. He didn't need money and sex, and that's what they used to bribe people with. He didn't need that. He wasn't involved in secret societies. He became president somehow, and he actually tried to do good. He had 4 things he wanted to do. He wanted to bring us out the Vietnam War. He wanted to put us back on the gold standard, which would have crippled the Federal Reserve. He wanted to disband the CIA, and he wanted to expose secret societies, such as Masons and Skull and Bones, and they had to kill him for that. You know, that was unacceptable. And but to make it look like they didn't do it, they had a patsy, and then they had someone kill the patsy to get rid of the fact that even the patsy could have talked. And you know, who's really in power becomes a big issue. Now, it's not just what's the name of the person who killed Kennedy versus another name of a person. It's what was that person acting on the behest of, and who was that person working for, and to what ends, and all that. No single person could have, with the evidence they found, could have satisfied the magic bullet theory that says that one person did it. And it was Sir William Stevenson of MI6 was head of the assassination team of I think seven assassins that all were involved in shooting Kennedy under Sir William Stevenson of MI6. Or the Community 300 would rule the world. If you're on the Community 300, you can do whatever you want as long as the other 299 members agree. That's all the people that you have to satisfy. As long as everyone else in the committee agrees with you and you're in agreement with them, you can do whatever you want if you're on that committee. And I was going to say something. The New World Order, what it'll be like. There's 4 major characteristics of the New World Order, and I'm not even saying the New World Order is going to be bad. That's a value judgment. I can't do that. Maybe some things about it I might even like. But here it is. Four things. First of all, no private property. Second of all, no national boundaries, no national identity. We'll all be a world. There won't be any separate countries. No religion other than authorized by the Community 300, which probably will be some sort of Satanism or whatever, and no family unit. Everybody will be everybody's dad and mom will basically be considered the government. So those 4 things. I'm not going to say what I feel about any of those, but that's just the terms. And so anyway, I just did this so I could go live, and wanted to please the fan that said I should this. Sir William Wiseman is in my adoptive dad's my adoptive dad's grandfather. I just wished him happy 140th birthday a few days ago, and he died a few years before I was born, so I never met him. But he was, and like I said in the video when I said happy birthday to him, my dad did. If anything, in hindsight, my dad kept a lot of this secret from everybody. It's only by being his son for all this time that I even learned what I know. You know, the last thing he yapped about was any of this stuff. He didn't go on about it, and in fact, on his grandma's side, he was Jesse James's relative, and then on his mom's side, on my dad's mom's side, he was Jesse James related, and then on his dad's side, he was Community 300 related. So, but that was all just like something you wouldn't know. He wouldn't just come off with that. He didn't lead with that. I barely know it myself that I was his son. So, I hope you guys enjoyed the stream. Love you guys. Peace. Rock and roll.